Hey guys, so okay, welcome back to Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. Let's carry on where we left off. We're about to initiate the second class trial. Victim was Chihiro Fujisaki, and we have our suspicions as to who the killer could be. Let's talk to these guys and head on down. You ready? We're doing this.
Well then.
I will uncover the villain who performed such heinous acts on a weaker individual. I will, but you can help. I don't know why the killer did what they did, but
Count on it!
I'm sure it'll work itself out. Justice always prevails. Right, bro? I'm not your bro. Mondo is. Kyoko,
Shall we go?
shall we begin?
How very
Miss Fujisaki.
sad.
I must admit, for being 3D, she was quite remarkable. Of course, just the idea of 3D makes me cringe. Toko, our suspected Genocide Jack killer, had to be dragged here by Monokuma.
Hey, come on!
Fucking Toko, man. What's got her so worked up? There is something odd about Toko's behavior. I do not think mere shock is enough to explain it. I guess I wasn't much help at all on this one. Great. And Byakuya. I gave you plenty to work with. Show us how far your logic can take you. I'm nervous. I might be overthinking this again. I don't know. Let's head on down, and I'll explain my thoughts. We have no choice, right? We have to do this.
It's true.
Yes. Gave a small nod in reply. With one last deep breath, I walked toward the elevator on shaky legs. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. As soon as everyone was on, the elevator began to descend. I couldn't get a handle on my emotions. Couldn't stop speculating. Here we go again. The steel box sank with heavy clunking sounds deeper and deeper into the ground. And as we went deeper, the uneasiness in my heart grew bigger and bigger. The elevator was unaffected, however, and continued to descend without hesitation. Until finally, it came to a sudden stop. What do you think? I redecorated. Isn't it so fresh? Isn't it so exciting? Don't waste our time with stupid questions. Let's get this over with. Good, good. You're rip-raring to go. Gotta say, I don't hate it. Not at all.
Well,
Okay then, let's get this show on the road.
thrills,
Everyone-
chills, kills!
Please find your assigned seats. And so, the curtain opened once again. A deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal, a deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly faith, a deadly class trial. Yep, let's do this. Alright, so now we're in court prep. I can explain my theories. So, what do we know so far? Or what do we suspect so far? I suspect right now that the boys' locker room is the actual crime scene, judging from evidence of the posters switching and the mats switching as well. I have a funny feeling about Byakuya. He knows that Genocide Jack, or he suspects that Genocide Jack is among us. And this would be the perfect opportunity for him to pin the crime on them and get away with it. And considering he knows the MO of Genocide Jack, with the case file and everything in the archive room, and he got me to investigate, right? He's trying to lead me astray. I'm going to be trying to convince these guys that it's Genocide Jack, it's Toko, who currently is acting very bizarre. Speaking of bizarre, let's read the bottom ticker here. The bizarre class trial begins again. Why was Chihiro murdered? Is the killer hiding within the group? Is there any help to be found in this series of murders? I don't know. Anyway, that's my thought. I think Byakuya could be the killer here, but maybe I'm overthinking it. I thought Leon couldn't be the killer in the first one because it was obviously written on the wall. Turns out I was wrong. I don't know. Overthinking can be pretty deadly, because if we get this wrong, we're all donezo. So let's review our truth bullets one more time before we head on inside. Monokuma file number 2. The victim was Chihiro Fujisaki. The time of death is estimated to be around 2 a.m. The body was discovered in the girls' locker room on the second floor of the school. The cause of death was a blow to the head with a blunt object. She was killed instantly. Sakura's account. Although Chihiro wanted to get stronger, she declined several invitations from Sakura and Aoi, and may have used the locker room late at night to avoid them. Despite this, Chihiro had stated that she desired help with their efforts. She may have been meeting someone in the locker room the night she was murdered. The locker room dumbbell. The dumbbell found on the floor of the girls' locker room had a significant amount of blood on it, potentially the murder weapon. Mondo's account, Chihiro had told anyone willing to listen that she wanted to get stronger, correct? Some assume that due to her inferiority complex about being weak, she admired strength more than anything else. Card reader. To unlock a locker room, you need to swipe your e-handbook over the card reader. You need a male student's handbook for the boys' locker room and a female student's for the girls. It is not possible for two people to enter at the same time, otherwise they would have been turned to Swiss cheese, to quote Monokuma. Additionally, lending someone your handbook is a violation of school regulations, but there are several loopholes to do with this. Main hall e-handbooks. The handbook of each student that has died is placed in the mailbox in the main hall. Byakuya decided to point this out to us, which may be trying to lead us astray that anyone could have done it, but I suspect the killer actually stole Chihiro's one, which is still missing by the way, and used that to get into the girls' locker room. Broken e-handbook. I still don't know the relevance of this, but it's worth noting either way. One of the handbooks found in the main hall had been broken, which is apparently a rare occurrence. Junko and Sayaka's handbooks both seem to still work, so it is assumed that the broken handbook is Leon's. However, Monokuma claims that it's very unlikely that Leon's handbook would have broken. Apparently it's made of titanium and whatnot and can survive up to 100 meters underwater. Genocide Jack case file. Suspected Genocide Jack victims include Ken Harada, Tetsuhiro Honda, and Shoji Gaku, among countless others. They were killed in the same way and mounted to a nearby wall. The word bloodlust was found at the scene of each crime, written in blood. Profiling indicates the killer is likely a student suffering from a split personality. Pointing towards Toko at the moment, considering her erratic behavior. Aoi's account, Chihiro seems to have consciously kept her distance from the other girls at the school even from the beginning. Meanwhile, it had been noticed that she got along remarkably well with her male classmates. Maybe she wanted one of them to train her. Boys' locker room carpet. The carpet in the boys' locker room was found with a blackish stain on it. 2 locker room posters. Blood was found on the poster in the girls' locker room. The poster featured a big-breasted supermodel, popular among young boys. Meanwhile, the poster in the boys' locker room was for a boy band popular with teenage girls. I was so cool when I realized that actually switched. Chihiro's e-handbook, this is the one. Chihiro's handbook was not found on her corpse and has apparently gone missing. Still don't know where that is. Status of the dead body. Chihiro's body had been suspended, and her hands had been bound with some kind of rope. Or, to be perfectly honest, it's the extension cord, a plug. Her fatal injury was a blow to the head. Disappearing stain. Sakura mentioned that she was responsible for a coffee stain on the girls' locker room floor. However, the stain had since been inexplicably scrubbed away. Library desk lamp. Byakuya was known to use this lamp often. However, the extension cord had gone missing at some point and the lamp's cord couldn't quite reach the outlet. Celeste's account, the final one, on the night of the murder, right before nighttime, Chihiro was spotted leaving the warehouse. It seems she was stuffing some blue exercise clothes into a duffel bag. Presumably she was on her way to exercise, but the clothes were not found at the crime scene. Celeste had not told anyone other than Makoto about this encounter, so if anyone else knows, that's suspicious, and we still don't know where these clothes or the bag is, so that's worth noting down as well. Alright. Set skills, we've only got, well, apparently we've got 3. We've got melodious voice, we've got vocabulary. Oh, never mind. That's how many skill points it takes, but we only got 2. We've got vocabulary, which we unlocked from Toko, and melodious voice, which is from Sakura, the late. No, not Sakura, sorry, the late Sayaka. Anyway, here we go. Finish preparations, let's head on inside. All rise.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
This will be a good refresher. The second case.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one,
I'm so into this game, like I'm
then
thinking.
I'll punish everyone besides the black
I have to get it right.
And the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
Or we're all toast.
Okay then. So, first off, let's talk about the murder weapon!
Really? First, we have to make clear what was used to deliver the fatal blow. See, the pictures are still here. 4 of them this time. Locker room dumbbell is the murder weapon. And also a
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
That's the one to shoot.
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Interesting. That certainly would make for a powerful weapon.
Poor Chihiro.
I realized sometimes I'd jump the gun and fire the truth bullet early. The weapon had to be at the scene of the crime. There was something with the bloodstain on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the whole debate first, and then I'll fire the bullet at the one that I suspect is the answer. In this case,
Chihiro's
I think I know what
fatal
it is.
injury. It appears it was a head wound.
According to the Monokuma file, the killer used a blunt instrument. But what kind of blunt instrument could it have been?
What? Really? Damn it. You think you have some proof that contradicts what I said? I need to think about it one more time. There must be a contradiction in their statements somewhere. Mistimed.
Chihiro's fatal injury. It appears it was...
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
No!
Interesting.
Oh, I missed it. Seriously? This is not a good start, guys. Come on. Focus.
Chihiro's. It appears it was...
According to the Monokuma file, what kind of blunt?
I bet it was an iron pipe.
Fire. It was not.
It's wrong.
What kind of investigator are you? Hero, come on. Focus.
Can we agree that the object that dealt the fatal blow was the dumbbell found at the scene of the crime?
I would guess when I fired the truth bullet, I was focusing on answering what the potential weapon was rather than countering that it was an iron pipe.
It was covered in blood, and there was nothing else at the scene that could have caused that kind of injury.
And the wound on the victim's head is consistent with the shape of the dumbbell. As far as I'm concerned, there's no mistake and no room for doubt on this one.
Thank you.
You looked at her head wound?
Yay! That's so creepy!
We gotta do what we gotta do, guys. Come on.
If you don't mind, I will proceed from here. Let's move on to discussion of the culprit.
Look at him trying to lead this trial.
Although, I believe the criminal behind this heinous act is already quite clear.
And if Byakuya wants to get away with it, now's the time to strike with so many potential suspects.
What? For real?
The less people that stand at this class trial, the more likely you are to get caught, right?
Chihiro's killer is the fiendish serial killer, Genocide Jack.
Genocide Jack? Fiendish serial killer? Did he really kill Chihiro? A new element has been added to non-stop debates. Oh yes, what's new? For this debate, lines of white noise will appear to disrupt your reactions. What? Your truth bullets will disappear if they hit these lines, so think of them as obstacles in your debate. But there's a way to keep this white noise from getting in your way. Press the right mouse button to attach the silencer, which you can use to shoot down the white noise. However, if you shoot an actual remark with your silencer instead of the white noise, the time limit will decrease. Oh my god. So take careful aim when you have your silencer out. Oh, but if your action difficulty is set to gentle, white noise won't appear at all. In which case, you can forget about the silencer and just focus on the situation in front of you. Well then, good luck and have fun. We're not set to gentle, we're set to normal, so there will be white noise. Unfortunately for us! Okay, time to concentrate now. Genocide Jack case file.
The
12
culprit
minutes.
is Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's impossible!
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
Hey, so, speaking of Genocide Jack, I don't know who that is!
God. Have you not been paying attention at all, Hifumi? The thing Byakuya showed me in the archive. One look at that and anyone would be convinced. It shows that this was the work of Genocide Jack. Okay, I think I know which
Culprit
one
is
it is.
Genocide Jack. I'm sure of it. Case closed, as far as I'm concerned.
But that's
Alright,
impossible!
right-clicking is firing with the silencer.
Why? What makes it impossible?
Well, I mean, come on! There's just no proof for it.
No,
Snuck
that's
right
wrong.
underneath it. Sniped it out of the air.
I might know one reason he could be involved.
What?
I found this file while I was looking around the archive in the library.
I don't know, I feel like we're just biting the bait and walking into a trap here.
I guess it's some kind of confidential file the police put together about the Genocide Jack case.
What? That's kind of weird as shit, isn't it? What was something like that doing in the library?
The why of it is probably more trouble than it's worth. So let's forget about that for now. More importantly, it outlines all the specifics of every Genocide Jack case in exceeding detail. According to the file, there appear to be two defining characteristics in every Genocide Jack case.
Correct.
The first is that a bloody message is found written at the scene of every murder.
Oh, that's right. Boob lust.
I'm face palming so hard right now.
No. It's actually bloodlust.
But more important is the other characteristic, and it's something that has never been made public.
Never made public? What the hell is it?
Why don't you tell them, Makoto?
The other characteristic of every Genocide Jack case, which the world at large doesn't know, if I'm not mistaken, it has to do with the positioning of the body. How the victim was positioned, they were all suspended, or, yeah, they were, weren't they? With scissors though, not with rope.
I got it!
That's the difference.
Apparently, in every Genocide Jack case, the killer suspends the body in a certain way. Other than the killer, the only people who know about this are the higher-ups in the police department.
However, Chihiro was most definitely suspended in the same way.
I wonder about
So,
that.
how did the culprit know about this when only high-level police officials were aware of it?
Poor Chihiro, man.
There's only one logical answer I can think of.
She was so innocent.
It's because the culprit in this case is the real Genocide Jack.
No fucking way!
He's playing a good game.
You're saying Genocide Jack is one of us?
Yes, in fact, it's Toko.
Well, he just doesn't mince words, does he?
What?
Genocide Jack's true identity is Toko Fukawa.
Oh god, here we go.
What?
We're going down the rabbit hole.
Hey. Okay, wait, hold on a sec. Toko has like bloodophobia or whatever, remember? What kind of serial killer is afraid of blood?
Is Toko Genocide Jack? The answer is yes and no.
Another riddle. Man, why is this gotta be so complicated?
Because if it was easy, I don't think Monokuma would have a lot of fun. It's a riddle for sure, but I feel like I understand it. What it means for Genocide Jack to be Toko, but also to not be Toko. The answer is that she's not just one person, but multiple people, right? Hangman's Gambit? Yeah, here we go. Okay, what are we trying to spell here? We need to make sure we spell it right. I'm just trying to think what this could be. H-I in the middle? You know, she's got a split personality. I'm trying to think, I'm just losing it right now. What am I trying to spell? Z, S, a lot of S's. H as well, A. So we know Toko is got split personality. She's got two distinctive patterns of behavior. What does this spell? Do I just take a gamble here? Spire with an S? Nope, that's not it. Whoops. Okay. S. Okay, it's S. Something. S-I, not a B. Schizo? Is that really what it is? Oh, wow. That took me a while. Whew.
Now I understand.
It's such an uncommon word, I can't imagine if you didn't know
Is it because Genocide Jack has a split personality?
what that word was. Wow, that was tough. Okay, whew. At least I got that.
Huh?
I think I read that somewhere in the file too.
She's schizophrenic.
They thought that the suspect might have, what did they call it? Dissociative identity disorder.
Oh, okay. But still, to go and say that about Miss Fukawa is...
Perfectly acceptable. Toko's strange behavior after seeing the body is proof enough that she has a split personality.
The one thing that shows Toko could have a split personality, it has to do with her behavior. Her behavior changed, obviously.
I got it! You're talking about how she started acting totally different than usual, right?
She didn't stutter, she just had her tongue hanging out, for goodness sake.
That's right. Think back. She fainted when she saw Chihiro's corpse, and then, when she woke up...
I'm fine. Whoa, is that a dead body? Hey, are you dead? She must have hit her head real hard when she fainted. The world has a front and a back, a top inning and a bottom, a sea of truth and a web of lies. This is quite concerning. I mean, she sounds completely different.
She was acting funny, that's for sure. That melancholy tone of hers completely disappeared.
Don't go assigning adjectives to my tone without permission.
Not to mention, once she regained consciousness and saw Chihiro's body again, she was utterly calm. In other words, within her is one personality that can't handle blood, and one that obviously can.
Oh man, must be the secret that she was trying to protect, right?
So when Toko trapped herself in her room, it's because she was scared of Genocide Jack?
She didn't want to awaken the beast within. I won't let Genocide Jack have control. I'll drive out the killer, to drive out the murderous fiend.
The reason she locked herself in her room wasn't to keep other people from getting in. It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
Correct.
What?
Toko was afraid. Afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her. Of killing even more people.
How?
Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Because she trusted him with the secret because she admires him? Is that how he found out?
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation.
And that must have been when he pounced on the opportunity to frame her.
She told me a most interesting story.
I mean, his family's so privileged, he's got access to this information about Genocide Jack already, right?
She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
He is cutthroat.
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised. I can't believe you lied.
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to. This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Now I'm just hoping it's Byakuya who's the killer.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
I'm sorry. I couldn't keep our promise. But don't worry. Never again. I won't let Genocide Jack have control ever again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me.
God.
That's the only reason I promised.
I guess we're not the only naive person around here.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that, but you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it, but...
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
Man, he's just giving her a flogging.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
It's just the opening act to him.
The person? You don't mean...
We have to activate him. Toko's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom. But in the next second... Uh-oh. Oh my god!
Well, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see?
Oh my god!
What the heck?
Oh, whoa!
So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
Ultimate murderous fiend?
What the fuck is this?
Oh, even Mondo's scared.
Toko, what happened to you?
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality.
I'm
One
scared.
of them happens to be a serial killer. You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
She's so intense.
That is an understatement, hero. Come on.
Like
I know you're chill.
Sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
I should never have talked to her and tried to make friends with her. She could have killed me at any second.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
Wow. I didn't realize you could get this level of crazy. This is the murderous fiend, Genocide Jack. This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll tell you. I am the mastermind of all masterminds!
I wonder now, the mastermind of this, with what Byakuya mentioned about the secret society controlling things in the dark.
Just kidding!
Maybe they're running the show, I don't know. I mean, how do they get access to that stuff? Is it even real? Is he even telling the truth about that?
Then it's not true?
Oh, I've got no idea what's going on right now.
Of course it's not true. How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid? And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless. I mean, they just let this idiotic, bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town.
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
That laugh is ridiculously creepy.
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death.
It's too easy, isn't it? It's just too easy to blame her.
There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
What's the motive? Yeah, I don't remember any motive. What, that she just likes killing?
Remember what Monokuma told us?
Oh, keep the secret, right, of course.
If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined.
Fair enough.
So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
And would Genocide Jill here really pull off her signature move? Like Sakura said once, I think. She said, a stupid killer. Like, would you really want to reveal yourself as Genocide Jill in this case? Huh? By performing your signature calling cards at a murder? I don't think so.
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Maybe so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
I better stop, focusing on this theory. Let's just see the facts. If I start twisting things to fit my theory, I might get misled, right? Okay, focus.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
What's Kyoko gonna say? She's been awfully silent.
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster!
Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said. I need to get some more details about all of this. We do. I'm not convinced. The status of the dead body.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone!
Whoa.
You
White noise
say
everywhere.
that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh?
Let's just get rid of this
we're
stuff.
talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need? Give it up. You killed her.
Alright. Okay, I have to just focus on remembering Chihiro's body. That must have the answer. Status of the dead body is our current bullet. Has been suspended and her hands have been bound with some kind of rope, right? But if we look at the case file, I can't see the case file itself, but they were mounted on a nearby wall. In this case, Chihiro wasn't mounted on the wall, she was suspended on the exercise equipment. I'm guessing that's the one I need to. The modus operandi, or MO. That should prove that what he said isn't quite right.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone!
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things. Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking!
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi
Right here.
matches.
Whoa.
No, that's wrong.
Narrowly missed. I need to build my reputation back up.
Are the methods of murder really exactly the same? I'm not so sure about that.
They aren't they?
I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How's it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you!
She's crazier than Monokuma.
I murder with passion and conviction. I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things.
Most serial killers do.
Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee.
Or Celeste didn't get milk with her tea.
This is no creation of mine.
Let me rephrase that in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
There's one clear difference between the murders. In the photos from the other Genocide Jack cases, look at the neck and stomach. Here you'll see a clear difference. The fatal injury was of scissors, right?
I got it! For one, the cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way.
Are they even scissors? They look like scissors.
According to the case file,
Yeah.
they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Exactly, it's not her signature style.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right. In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce.
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
That's right. The second difference is related to how she was suspended. In the photos of the other Genocide Jack cases, all the other victims were stabbed through their hands. Here, you'll see a clear difference. What was used to suspend her?
I got it! Do you remember what the killer used to suspend her? They used some kind of rope to hang her up by her wrists.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them.
The scissors themselves.
Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
Which is amazing that they can stick to the wall.
And guess what? I use my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement.
Makes sense then?
Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else?
What else? Please tell us.
Big Mac said there's two differences, but he's wrong.
There's three?
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Huh?
She's female? She only killed males? Is it? I don't remember. I can't pull up the case file, the picture of that, what's inside, unfortunately. Lucky I remember that there were scissors.
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case. There's a pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
Right.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There was a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack victims, and Chihiro didn't fit it? If you look at the names of every victim, what you'll notice is... I think I figured it out. I know why she couldn't have killed Chihiro. Because Chihiro was a girl.
I got it!
Yes, I knew it.
Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
Bingo! Bullseye! Right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
They were all male. Ken Harada, 32. Tetsuhiro Honda, 17. Shoji Gaku, 23. Kano Issei, 14. Takeshi Yoshida, 30. The only one obvious to me that it's male is Ken and Shoji. The rest, I guess Takeshi as well. Komatsu Nataro, Takafumi, Gono Uchida, Naohira, Takeshi Masamune, Yuto Yumijima. There was no end to it.
They were all guys?
Apparently.
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men!
I mean, one was 30 years old.
I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
I can't help it! I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it. But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
So since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Well, I'm... in the game, that is. I'm an adorable little man, aren't I?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely. When you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That's what I've been saying!
Danganronpa.